Welcome to the Generation UCAN podcast previewing the Olympic Marathon Trials and the Houston Marathon. I'm Varun Sriram. It's a huge weekend for running fans. First, the Marathon Trials on Saturday morning, then the Houston Marathon on Sunday morning. Generation UCAN is lucky to have 7 athletes taking part in the 2 races, all looking for a spot on the Olympic team. We start our preview off today with a conversation with Natasha LaBeaud, an American runner who will be in the women's marathon trials on Saturday morning. Natasha, thanks so much for taking the time to chat with us. For our audience who doesn't know too much about you, it'd be great for you to kind of introduce yourself to them, and maybe you can just get started by telling us how you got started running and your background in running. You know, what is it that stuck with you about running, and why did you like it so much?
Sure, yeah. I've been running since I was 7 years old. I joined a youth running club because we had the jogathons at school, and I found that I really enjoyed doing them, and I was pretty good at it. So started doing that, went to the Junior Olympics with the team, and then kept going after that. Just wanted to keep going with something that I really enjoyed doing, and continued it at Georgetown, and then moved on to Team USA Arizona, and then finally switched over to Mizuno, and I'm training in San Diego now.
When do you think it first occurred to you that, hey, making the Olympics is something that's actually a realistic possibility for me?
I mean, I've dreamed about it since I started, and then in college when things started to click a little bit more and the 10K started to come a little bit more naturally, I knew I always wanted to do the marathon even since I was a kid, so it just seemed like the natural progression of what I was going to do next. So I think I've been dreaming about it for so long that I would love for it to become a reality, and can only hope that one of that becomes true.
How are you feeling mentally with the race just a few days away?
I think the most important right now is just to keep calm and collected. There's no need to get everything going right now. There's definitely a little bit of nerves, but trying to calm them down as much as possible and just realize that it's a great thing what's about to happen, and good chance for PRs, and you never know what can happen on race day, so just excited.
The marathon itself, a very daunting event. What have your experiences been like with the marathon? How challenging of an event actually is it? And how much of it is that physical training leading up to it? And how much is it just being mentally tough and being able to get through it?
This is my first year doing the marathon. I only started doing it in January of 2011. And it is as challenging as everybody says it is. My coach always tells me that it's like playing a game of dice where you don't know how it's going to roll on that day. You can be as mentally and physically prepared as you think you are, and your body can still decide that it's just not going to be able to push through when you want it to most. So I think the most important thing is just staying positive throughout, because I've had those days where it's been brutal out there, and then you just kind of have to rally multiple times during in order to make a good day come out of it. So it's just as brutal as some people say, but it's worth it in the end.
So give us an idea, when you're training for Houston, what's your training like? What's your training been like the past few months leading up to this race?
I've been recording about 120 to 130 miles a week, really getting the mileage, a lot of good, strong workouts. We found a good amount of other men for me to train with here that have really helped with some of the workouts, and just making sure that the long runs pay really close attention to what we're doing, getting some really good tempos in, and then entering some races at the end of long runs so that you're getting that fast finish that you really do need at the end of a marathon.
Now, do you have to approach this race mentally different in any way than other races that you've run in? How do you balance that with not wanting to change up what's worked for you too much, but at the same time realizing the magnitude of this race?
Yeah, well, in college, my coach, Coach Miltonberg, had told me that you were supposed to just run any race no matter how big it was, just like it was any race in the beginning of the season. You're more in shape than you were before, so you just keep going in with that confidence that you're going to do well, and there's no reason why it shouldn't pay off. So I think just not getting too involved with everything else that's going around. Everybody knows it's a big event. We know that there's a lot to accomplish there, but just if you get too involved with that, then you can lose your head. So just trying to keep level and just realizing that the whole point is just to do your best. So that's what I'm planning on doing.
What's it going to feel like for you lining up for the race and seeing all the great runners around you? What's it going to be like to be part of that?
I mean, it's competitors no matter what. I try not to put anybody on the podium because with the marathon especially, you never know who's going to come back to you. A lot of great runners can have bad days. It just happens. The body, sometimes it just doesn't work as well as you want it to. So you don't know what's going to happen. That can be the same said for me. So at the starting line, I'm just looking at it as we're all competitors. We're all out there to do our best, and that's just what we're going to do.
I think it'd be interesting to find out how you've been using UCAN in your training and how you plan to use it on race day. So if you could just kind of walk us through that a little bit, I think it'd be interesting to hear.
Yeah, I have celiac disease, so I can't have anything with gluten. So trying to find some things that have substantial energy and can keep me going has been quite a challenge. So then when the opportunity with UCAN came around, I just automatically noticed a huge difference in my ability to push through a lot of things. So I take it before I start my workouts, and I'm able to not have to worry about sugars or anything, which is a huge deal with the marathon for, essentially the whole length of it. If I do need to take any, again, it's towards the end, but my plan for the marathon is to take it at the beginning, a good amount of it, and then all I need to do is really take water and maybe some carb sources towards the end, and I'm good to go.
Now, when you say a good amount of it, do we talking 2 packets, or how many do you usually like to take before the race? Does it kind of depend on how you're feeling?
Yeah, I double it, so I usually take 2.
And Natasha, one more, and we'll get you out of here. I just wanted to ask you about something we like to call a UCAN moment in your running career, which is, it's a moment you're able to overcome something tough, an obstacle, accomplish something great by pushing yourself through, saying you can, essentially. Anything that stands out to you in your running career so far as a UCAN moment? Actually,
probably my first marathon, where it was Houston, actually last year in January, and around mile 22, I hit that elusive wall that I really just didn't think was coming. And as a first-time marathoner, I didn't know how to react, but I was able still to regain myself, push through, and then still get my first Olympic trials qualifying time. So I think that was a UCAN moment where you can just push through, know that you can do whatever you need to do, and I know that I can have a great race this week.
That's awesome, Natasha. Well, congratulations. We're definitely all pulling for you, and it should be a great weekend. Should be an exciting weekend. So enjoy it, and hopefully you run great, and just all the best to you.
I really appreciate that.
You've been listening to the Generation UCAN podcast. For more information on the sports nutrition of elite and everyday runners, visit generationyoucan.com.